Yeah, I can hear you now.
Awesome. That's beautiful. Finally.
Finally, man.
Finally, brethren.
This is a blessing, I feel so blessed, from linking up in a WhatsApp group to now finally putting the face to the innovative ideas that I've been seeing in posts on AI, content creation, and all those sorts of cool things, man.
Hey, we thank God on it, man. We just there to make sure we get to know the beauty of technology and how they can use it.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
so I also recently got to know that you're staying in SA.
I am back in Zim. I usually am a group trotter, so I travel quite a lot. But right now I'm in Zim. So yeah, it's good to be home as always.
Yeah. Home, they say home is the best, eh? Doesn't matter whether you're in
It's true.
whether you're in SA or you're in Cyprus or you're in the States or Canada, your heart will be like back in Zim, eh?
True. I mean, Zimbabweans are warm people. I've met other warm people, but Zimbabweans are more warmer.
Okay, yeah. I do understand. Um, okay, so Coach Kuda, let's get to know you. I know you're an AI
Awesome.
guy. I know you're an AI guy, and that has been an area of fascination to me because in my last semester at the university, I ventured, I did a module called artificial intelligence. So that module was very challenging, yet
Yeah,
eye-opening. It was
that's
eye-opening
good.
because it was speaking to the things that we are now getting into, which is the future. So
True.
when I got to know you and all about your content creation, AI stuff, I was like, oh, interesting. And I also got to see your WhatsApp profile, which was talking a lot about AI and automation. I was like, this sounds very cool. So I hit your inbox and we sort of linked. So yeah, it's one of those things. So before, well, as we get into the session, can you just explain or introduce yourself rather to the listeners as to who you are and what you do?
Awesome. I mean, first of all, thank you, Mr. AK. Thank you very much for linking up and we're here today. In a nutshell, Kuda Dube is my name, and I'm a certified life coach, and I'm also qualified in a bit of AI stuff, and as well social media, content marketing, pretty much digital marketing. Got certified with your HubSpots and your Google platforms. So basically, those are my skills. Besides that, I love traveling a lot. I had the privilege, by God's grace, to be able to travel since 2013 till to date. Began the journey of social media, I think, around 2015.
Wow.
Which was still quite a new shock in Zimbabwe then. But that's when I started. And then with time went on, I think 2-3 years after, I then opened up Digital Fingers to the world.
Which is doing well at the moment, eh?
It is. If it wasn't, I wouldn't be here.
You need your bills to get paid, eh?
True. The Bible says if you don't work, you don't eat.
Yes. I also see you wear a lot of hats. I see you are a content creator. You are a digital marketer, social media strategist, copywriter, life coach, AI learner. not just an AI learner,
Yes.
an avid AI learner. So, yeah. So then the question will be like, how do you strategically manage your typical 24-hour day? How do you
Day. Well,
yeah.
my day usually starts. I wake up quite early. I would say for me, my early waking up is like around 5, but I jump out of bed around 9 in the morning. But besides that, I sleep late as well. Yeah, I think it contributed from the insomnia I had when I had about 4 accidents, and then one of those 4 was a life-threatening experience. So I was in Zim when that happened. That's around 2011.
Okay.
So from there on, sleeping has been a very, very difficult thing. Like for me, I always say to my friends, sleeping is expensive.
Yes, yes,
So from there, I actually use it more into my work because I cannot sleep. So I think averagely I sleep 4 hours or none.
Sure.
Yeah. So my day usually it's full. I wake up in the morning with my hot water. That's my first thing I do before I start working. And obviously, set my day to God, and then I'm a very passionate faith person. So for me, that's key. That's like the best AI ever.
Yes.
And then from there, I just hit my day. I usually start by researching what's happening in the world today. So that's number one. And then just from there on, the way I structure my day is I definitely use AI tools to structure certain tasks so that I have more time to other things. So that's basically how I do it. And then from there on, just check if I have any clients I need to talk to or presentations which are coming up, and then just structure those up, and I'm done. Naturally, I am a very structured person. I'm a people-oriented, structured person.
Okay. So you have
Yeah.
they say you have what they call a structured brain. That
Yes.
so
I used to be in the corporate world before. I think 5+ years.
okay.
So and by God's grace, I think my lowest job was an assistant administrator. But after that, other places I was a manager and whatnot. So I really do understand being a structured person looks like in a corporate setting. So I'm that guy. If you say anything at 1 p.m., you definitely find me there at 1:45, waiting for you to come through.
You follow the schedule as it is.
I follow the schedule. So I always joke and say, if rapture time comes, by God's grace, I'll be on time.
Nice one. So do you buy into the narrative that sanctions on Zimbabwe are restricting how we as Zimbabweans access technology, let's say technologies such as ChatGPT, which is most influential right now, and also how the platforms treat us? Let's say if you're a content creator from Zimbabwe, are we sort of treated differently because of those sanctions from your own experience? And
I think, let me put it this way. Let's start with ChatGPT. ChatGPT has other countries which are not able to use it, right?
Okay.
If you check, there's, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's about close to 50+ countries which are not able to access ChatGPT on the go. Right? Zimbabwe is, unfortunately, is one of those countries. But let's also remember, most of these tools which are being created are created for the first class. I call it the first class world. Your Americas, your China, and all these other, developed countries, Europe and all these regions. Right. So they are pro those countries. They're not really meant for us down here in Africa, if you notice. If Malta, the first country those guys were out there think of is South Africa and Nigeria. Right? Then if it goes
plus Kenya.
Yes, in Kenya afterwards. Right? Kenya's like an afterthought.
Okay.
Rwanda's an afterthought. Right? That's what I've noticed. So imagine a country, imagine a continent with 53 countries, and you only concentrate on approximately 5 out of the 53.
Yeah.
It becomes a difficult ecosystem to work.
Yeah. Very true.
Right. But the one thing I love, obviously, it's limiting for Zimbabwe to do certain things if you're a content creator. I wouldn't lie. It's not only for Zimbabweans alone. If you go to Tanzania, they're also struggling with certain parts of this technology as well. Go to Malawi, you go up there. I've been in these countries, so I've seen and experienced the difficulty of accessing little simple things you can access if you just go to South Africa, for example. So the ecosystem is, unfortunately, it's not so favorable for Zimbabwe, for example. But despite all that, this is one thing I did when ChatGPT came out. I think the week after it came out, what I did, I went online, checked how I'm able to access it from Zimbabwe. I was in Zimbabwe at that time when I was trying to access it. And what I did is, I was with a friend of mine who just came back from Dubai. So he linked up with this friend who's in Dubai to say, hey, can you just connect your number so that we're able to, kind of crack ChatGPT and start using it in Zimbabwe. Right. So that was a trial run we did, and we did it and we nailed it. That day we were able to be on ChatGPT for the first time. It was in the afternoon, I think around 2 p.m. Zimbabwean time. And boom, there he's able to get to use ChatGPT on his laptop. And we didn't stop there. We went on that same week. We went on to see how we were able to use it on cell phones and all these other platforms. And we were able to use it. And that week, when we were done, I mean, we were proud about it because a few people were still not able to get ChatGPT in Zimbabwe. Right. And then the following week, by God's grace, I was able to bump into a software developer who's in Blue Whale. We met online. And then he created a Zim type of ChatGPT where people are able to access ChatGPT easily than the hassle we went through when we were trying to do it by ourselves. But it didn't stop us there. I think the following week afterwards, I think I paid about $138 just in ChatGPT alone.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So maybe you might ask how. There was a South Africa.
Yes.
There was a startup in South Africa. Which wanted help with some branding tools.
Okay.
And I just used ChatGPT to create that form of content they were looking for. And boom, the money was paid. Mukuru came in and I enjoyed my money.
Wow. So that's one of the tangible benefits of venturing into AI, right?
Definitely. I mean, definitely. I agree with you. And ChatGPT is one of many, AI tools you can use. And the beauty of AI, I think for me, is you being able to understand what it is and how to use it in your day-to-day.
Okay.
So you're solving problems using AI. There's nothing weird about that. It's just that it's a new technology people are also trying to understand. But at the same time, you can use it to make things way better and solve your time constraints, because it definitely saves you time.
Okay. Kuda, before we proceed, let's get everyone on the same page here. We are using two big words.
Okay, we can break it down.
First of all, let's define artificial intelligence, which you are abbreviating as AI, and then let's also define ChatGPT in a way that someone who is not well versed in the technology space can understand. Take it away.
So I think let's cool. AI basically is you the human being. You're associating yourself with a technology, which is a bunch of machines, right? A bunch of machines you can use to help you deal with your mundane tasks of the day. Right? That's the simplest way I can put it. So the machine cannot operate on its own. It needs you to bring the input for you to use it. Right? So it's not just like a robot which just comes from nowhere. You have to also be able to input information in that machine so that that machine gives you the output you require, which is the result, right? So in a nutshell, AI is a machine you are using, you, the human being, so that you're able to help yourself solve problems and, save time. That's the simplest way I can put it.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. And ChatGPT.
So ChatGPT comes from a company called OpenAI.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
It is a machine learning based platform as well, which is called ChatGPT. It's a machine which you talk to by you inputting information into the system, and then it gives you the output you're looking for. So the information inputting is what you call prompts. Right?
Yes.
People call it, I'm prompting something. So you're prompting the machine based on the information you're given it so that you get a result you're desiring to use. If the result you're getting is not good enough for you, you continuously input more prompts. Become more clearer with your prompt, the clearer the answer you get. Right? So it's more like what you give in is what you receive. So if you give a shallow prompt, you also get a shallow report. It's like you asking a question. If you're asking me a smart question, you get a smart answer. But if you ask me a question which is not wise enough, you get an unwise answer. Right?
Yeah,
that's how I would explain it.
I get it. I get it now. I fully get it. Yeah. So why is AI trending now? Because AI, if you do some research, you realize that we have been unconsciously using AI since the 80s. So why is it a big deal now?
I think now access is more. That's number one. I mean, now almost everyone has internet somewhere. Compared back in the days in the 90s where only a few had internet. Now internet is like a day-to-day, phenomenon to everyone. You can use it wherever you are. Despite how remote you are, you can still be able to access the internet. I think now why it's a big show is because access is now more easier. Imagine right now in Zimbabwe, an average of two smartphones per individual. That means somehow they're data. You can't be able to afford two phones if you can't have data.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. It's the same thing if I'm to go down there in Swaziland, close to the Indunas in the rural areas in Eswatini. It's the same thing. Right? They also have the internet there. But the challenge now we still have is, in as much as we have the internet, only a few people are aware that this AI is existing. Right?
Very true.
So
Very true.
It needs now a lot of people to research about it and figure what's going on in the world, because we're a global citizen right now. You and I are global citizens. We need to treat ourselves as global citizens, a global village. Right? Not to isolate ourselves from what's happening in the world. Right? So I always say the information you get is based on what you're going to use it for. If you're oblivious enough to understand what AI is about, it will come to you in a harsh way at the workplace when your boss then tells you, I need you to respond to these emails immediately. That's when you then realize, okay, my time is running away from me right now. I need to use an AI which helps me to respond to certain emails now. Or your job will be taken away by a certain tool which your boss might know, which is using AI, and probably your work, unfortunately, might vanish because of such things. So that's the reality which is there right now.
What about the fears that people have concerning AI, the dangers of AI? Well, what's your take on that? Because it's like
definitely it is crazy. You remember very well the CEO of OpenAI even went to a point of saying, hey, we need to regulate this new beast, and I do agree. The dangers are there. It's as good as every good tool has the bad side as well. Right? Because the bad side of every tool is being imputed by a human being.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we need to be conscious enough to say AI doesn't operate in a vacuum. There's a human being who's behind it, right? So there's the good and the bad side of everything. So the bad side is there, definitely. I mean, there's cybersecurity issues right now, right? We are having identity theft also happening because of AI. I can clone your voice and speak to your wife right now, and then you get into an argument later on figuring what's going on, right? So there's a whole lot of things going on. I mean, there's a lot, but the beauty about it is you as a smart individual, you need to learn what AI is and what it can do, and how you can prevent yourself from being mixed up in the bad side of it. It's just like the web also has the dark web, right? There's the good and bad. So how do you safeguard yourself? You need to be smart by you being learning cybersecurity, for example. Because you get into a space which is a bit complex, you also need to protect yourself. Yeah. So I also have what I call information hygiene.
Yes.
What you post on social media also has to be smart enough to a point that it doesn't attract the bad side of AI in your life as well, because somebody can use your social media for the wrong reason. So information hygiene is also key. Yeah.
So if we use let's say a platform like TikTok or Instagram,
yes,
or even Facebook Reels, you see like the algorithm sort of tend to customize the kind of content it pushes towards you. How have you been manipulating the algorithm so that it does what you want?
So for me, number one, how I do it is I use engine, right?
Okay.
It's an AI tool. So it kind of gives me what I'm looking for. That's number one. But if I go on Facebook right now, I rarely use my feed. I go to the search bar first. Right? I search what I'm looking for. And then when I get what I'm looking for, I cross-relate it again using Brave, the browser, in incognito mode, so that I do not get the algorithm to continuously feed me with their ads and their marketing, zeroing in on my interest in one space. That's the way I do it ever since. So that way, even if I go on TikTok, it's the same thing. Even if I go on Pinterest, it's the same thing. I first go to the search. I don't go to my feed first.
Okay. Can you share with me the habits you had to develop in order for you to become a vibrant content creator that you are today? You are one person who is consistently posting relevant information or content that is relevant for your industry. what traits did you have to develop because you were not that consistent from the beginning?
True.
Yeah.
I think number one is curiosity. How curious are you to know certain things? That's number one. And then number two is you need to hang out with people who are in that space you want to be in, right? Like you mentioned earlier, and you're right. I wasn't concerned from the day one. But all this for me started 2014, 2015 with my late friend who passed away recently.
Oh, shame.
He was into this content stuff, right? And he went to Yali in the States. Okay. So when he came back, he's like, hey, dude, you need to learn this tech stuff. And I was like, okay, cool, man, we can do it. And then we met in town and he started teaching me. I think my first gig was a WordPress blog, right, from script.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
2015, first time ever. And that was the beginning of it for me. Then from there on, he was every day pushing me to say, man, where are you now? And that's how I started. So curiosity then began the journey for me to say, okay, after creating this blog from WordPress, what's the next thing I need to learn? Social media, which is something new, which is coming up. So because I'm a global citizen, I hooked up with a friend of mine who was in the UK. And I said, hey, man, you understand this better because you're in that space right now. And this space is not yet in Zim right now. And my first gig with him was social media management for a company in South Africa. So I was co-working with them whilst he's in the UK and I'm in Zimbabwe working for a company in South Africa.
Remote work.
Right? Remote work, yes.
Okay.
And then that was the start. And then it went well. We were doing his social media management for his Instagram, right? Then from there on, got another job. My mom's friend, she has a cleaning company in Zimbabwe. Boom. I did work for I think 2 years. So I'm also harnessing my skills at the same time, but I'm also learning online to really perfect my skill back in the day. Because remember, all this stuff when it started, there was no university for it. Right?
Yes.
And then I went to look for courses online, paid and not paid, and then did the work, pushed the hours to learn. So I'll do that on my free time and learn as much as I can, and I continuously learn every day. There's a statement I learned which says, if you do not continuously to learn, you're growing old.
And Grant Cardone likes using that statement. If you are not learning, you are dying.
Exactly. And I'm actually in his 10X group, by the way, on Facebook.
Okay. I no longer know how many of them exist now. And it's very difficult to find out the real one from the fake one, from this one, because all of them, they always have a lot of people. So, I tend to give up following these influential figures because when you think you have joined this one, you see another one, and you'll be like, which one is the real one?
True.
Yeah.
That's true. But the best way, sorry to interrupt. The best way to answer that is always look from the source first.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the best way to know.
Like the one that person is pushing, like the one that he says, follow me on this.
Exactly. So you just go on their website. If they're running in a seminar or whatever it is, they're doing a webinar, follow the person through that link. Probably get the proper authentic group.
Okay. So can you just briefly share with us the free AI tools that people can use to get started with AI? If someone has listened to this session and say, I want to get started with AI, which free tools can they start with today?
Okay. That's a big question. because AI, remember, we are having, I think, more than 20 AI tools being created in a week. So, it's a lot of work. But I think let me try and do the best I can. Number one, for those who want to use ChatGPT in a smart way, they can use poi.com, POE. Right? It's ran by the owner of what's the name of this tool? What's that platform where people ask questions?
Quora.
Yes, the owner of Quora. That's the one who owns it. That POE.com.
Okay.
Poi. That's one you can use. It has ChatGPT in there, and it also has GPT 3 and 4 and all sorts. So you can have, an amazing time with it. You can also use Perplexity. Perplexity is also one I use on a day-to-day.
What does it do?
Perplexity is, picture yourself like you have Google, a smart Google assistant, right? So it also helps you ask questions faster, browse faster. So if you have a specific thing you want to know, you just type it in there and then it gives you the answers you're looking for. So it's quite quicker. And then for those who are able to use Cloud 2, that's CLAUDE 2, Cloud 2. Unfortunately, it's not for Zimbabweans though, but I mean, Zimbabweans are smart enough. You can get your brother who was in the dashboard to link you up and you join in. So that's another one. That's another one a person can use. For those who like to learn coding for free, they can also use Solo Learn. Solo Learn. That's another one, which is free. And then there's this recent one I found out, I think a few days ago, called Pensight. So
what does it?
It has it's a one-stop shop for you. You can create a website in it. You can create a landing page in it. It can also help you create a course as well in it. It's pretty similar to PayHip, if you know PayHip. I also use PayHip as well if you check on my link. So those are some people can use. There's Andy Search as well. AndySearch.com. It's another one a person can try out. Yeah, I mean, they've got a lot. There is spacelogo.ai for those who like to create their own free logos and stuff. That's another tool a person can try out.
Okay.
So there's quite a lot. I think they can inbox me and then I can just share. I'm not stingy with tools.
Yes.
They can always
I actually encourage the listeners to follow you as well on your Facebook page. They will learn a lot. They will learn a lot, and every day will be a learning day with if they link up with you.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. Let's just say in closing, what do you think is coming after ChatGPT?
There's going to be more. I was checking what they call IFA Berlin 2023. It's a conference which deals with technology. From anything you can think of, from cars to house, from house utensils to house gadgets, anything you can think of. But what's coming? There's going to be more people moving towards using AI on a day-to-day basis. So your mundane tasks can be sorted out with certain tools right now. I think you've noticed a lot of people are now using avatars instead of using their original faces currently. Create your own persona online and then you use that for your business adventures and stuff. There's going to be a lot of AI assistants in terms of virtual assistants as well. I mean, ChatGPT is just a tip of an iceberg. You also have chatbots now which can do all sorts of things for you today. So I mean, there's a lot. Imagine incorporating it in your education right now, because in some countries they're already using it. You look at China, they're already using it right now. You look at parts of America right now, they're also using it. So it all depends. It all depends how you want to go and grow. But I mean, right now here in Zim, I think there's also chatbots which are WhatsApp based, which people are using for their kids to learn certain things. Even in Kenya, they already have that right now. So I think the sky is the limit. I mean, this is just the start. Imagine ChatGPT now and what it's going to be like in 5 years. It's going to be big. I mean, now having VAR everywhere.
Kuda, briefly.
So
Briefly. What do you?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So you can finish.
Okay, so briefly, I think the best people can do is learn as much as you can about AI, join WhatsApp groups about AI from all over the world. Join Facebook platforms, learn as much as you can from these companies. Go on Twitter, be curious enough to learn, figure what works for you, and start to learn about it and use it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what do you want your